CPDs. This is the first CPD that we are having for this year, conducted as a collaboration between PPD Klang, Unit Bahasa, and also resource teachers, from PPD Klang also, Miss Lani and the gang, the teammate. Okay.
Perma, can we restart again, because the YouTube is just countdown to 3. You can start anytime after this. Okay, can we start again?
I see.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, yes,
no problem.
now.
It's starting now?
Yes.
Okay, let me record. Push the record first, yeah. Right. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all the participants, and especially to our beloved Puan Saada binti Kasiran, our Timbalan Sektor Pendidikan, our Timbalan PPD Sektor Pembelajaran of PPD Klang, our esteemed guest speaker, Puan Ilani Muhammad Kamil, fellow PPD officers, Puan Nurul Husna binti Yem, who will be helping me with the IT staff, and also the kehadiran. And then fellow teachers, whether you are teaching and you are going to sit for the exam, I think this is like the session that should be joined by as many teachers as we can, we can allow to, because this is like the new MUET that we are talking about. There are some differences from the previous one, and whether or not you are going to decide whether you want to register for 2022 or not, but it is still something relevant for you to ponder upon and to contemplate. Okay, without further ado, I would like to have I know Encik Ahmad Zamzuri is online. Can I please can you please recite a doa, a prayer before we begin our session today, Encik Ahmad Zamzuri? Please welcome.
1 minute, Puan. Before we start, I think we should recite Al-Fatihah together. Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma innaka khalaqul azim, innaka sami'ul alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arsyil azim. Ya Allah, Engkaulah yang mempunyai segala kepujian, Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kepujian, Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kesyukuran, Engkaulah yang memiliki segala pemerintahan, di tangan Engkau segala kebajikan, dan kepada Engkaulah kembali segala urusan. Allahu ya Karim ya Rahim, limpahkanlah rahmat dan rahim-Mu ke atas majlis yang diadakan pada hari ini. Berkatilah majlis ini dari awal hingga akhir. Ya Allah, pada hari yang penuh dengan keberkatan ini, kami berdatangan sambil melafazkan kesyukuran atas segala nikmat, rahmat, inayat dan pertolongan, nikmat iman, nikmat kesejahteraan, nikmat kemerdekaan, pembangunan dan keamanan. Ya Allah, perbaikilah urusan dunia dan agama kami, bersih dan suci pekerjaan kami, berilah cahaya petunjuk-Mu kepada hamba-hamba-Mu di dunia ini. Berilah kami ilham untuk mendapatkan jalan yang lurus, peliharalah kami dari segala kejahatan dan keburukan. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram, kami juga memohon perlindungan-Mu dari segala perkara yang boleh mencacat-celakan majlis kami dan segala perkara yang melalaikan kami dari berbuat taat kepadamu. Kepadamu juga kami serahkan segala urusan kami. Rabbana alaika tawakkalna wa ilaika abna wa ilaikal masir. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Okay, back to you, Puan.
Amin, 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 ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Encik Zamzuri, for the prayers that we just have just now. And without further ado, I would like to call upon Puan Saada binti Kasiran, our Timbalan PPD Sektor Pembelajaran, to give us a few words to encourage us on this MUET session that we have for the first time ever for this year. Please welcome Puan Saada.
Terima kasih banyak-banyak Puan Nur Maizatul Azura binti Husin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera kepada Puan Nur Maizatul Azura Husin, SISC Plus, PTD, Klang. Saya nampak juga Puan Nurul Husna binti Yim, USTP, PPD Klang. Sudah pasti, terima kasih Puan Nurul Husna membantu dari segi teknikal. Yang dikasihi, dihormati Puan Ilani binti Muhammad Kamil, guru sumber MUET PPD Klang, dan semua guru calon MUET yang dikasihi sekalian. Oh, bukan semua guru calon MUET ya, semua guru dan calon-calon MUET yang dikasihi sekalian. Terima kasih menjemput saya pada hari ini. Saya baru saja selesai taklimat pengoperasian sekolah yang kita akan sebarkan kepada pengetua dan guru besar pada esok hari ya. Jadi alhamdulillah saya dapat bersama-sama tuan-tuan dan puan-puan pada hari ini. Jadi kepada guru-guru yang dikasihi, apabila berlaku sahaja perubahan-perubahan baik dalam kandungan kurikulum macam saya tadi pengoperasian sekolah dan lain-lain akan menyebabkan kita terpaksa relearn, belajar semula ya. Jadi dunia pendidikan ni sebenarnya adalah satu dunia yang dinamik, buatkan kita sebagai guru ni perlu peka lah ya dengan segala yang berlaku di sekeliling kita. Jadi saya juga pernah sebut, saya rasa tahun lalu, we are living in a VUCA world. Jadi saya ambil yang V je lah ya, volatile. Jadi volatile ni tuan-tuan dan perempuan lebih mahir bahasa Inggeris sebenarnya. Jadi dia sesuatu yang meruak kan ya. Dia jadi dunia ni seolah-olahnya adalah sesuatu yang sentiasa berubah dengan cepat. Jadi kadang-kadang katalah kita membeli sesuatu gadget ataupun alat lah ya, ataupun katalah kita mempelajari sesuatu yang baru pada hari ini, and then the next day kita discover that ada lagi teknologi yang lebih baru ataupun maklumat-maklumat yang lebih baru yang perlu kita fahami. Jadi bagi tuan-tuan pada hari ini memang tepatlah nampaknya volatility ni memang terkena betul lah pada guru-guru MUET ya. Dengan adanya perubahan dalam format MUET ataupun Malaysian University English Test ni, maka menjadi tanggungjawab kami lah ya untuk menyebarkannya dan jadi tanggungjawab semua guru bahasa Inggeris untuk ambil tahu. Jadi saya katakan semua guru bahasa Inggeris, tidak sahaja kepada guru-guru tingkatan 6 kerana kenapa perlu ambil tahu? Nombor satu, kita mengajar lah ya, mengajar anak-anak pelajar-pelajar, jadi supaya kita belajar di landasan yang betul, supaya murid-murid ataupun pelajar-pelajar ini mendapat pendedahan yang tepat. Jadi mereka sebagai pelajar berhak untuk menerima maklumat yang terkini dan menerima pendidikan yang terbaik daripada kita. Yang keduanya, kita perlu mengambil tahu untuk keperluan diri kita sendirilah ya, terutamanya tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang bakal mengambil peperiksaan untuk tahun 2022 dan seterusnya. Jadi yang ketiga, kenapa perlu ambil tahu? Kita perlu ambil tahu juga untuk melengkapkan diri kita dengan info ataupun maklumat yang terkini supaya kita dapatlah menyebarkannya kepada rakan-rakan yang lain yang bertanya, yang mungkin tak mengajar tingkatan 6 ya, ataupun tidak mengajar bahasa Inggeris. Jadi mereka tak berkait pun, tapi mungkin bertanya untuk anak-anak mereka ya. Jadi ada juga kadang-kadang kalangan ibu bapa yang memerlukan maklumat-maklumat terkini. Jadi sebab itulah ya kita perlu keep up dengan info ataupun maklumat-maklumat yang terkini. Jadi saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih dan tahniah kepada semua guru yang hadir pada hari ini kerana saya faham yang tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sedang bersedia sebenarnya untuk sesi bersemuka, terutamanya untuk tingkatan 6 semester 2 yang akan bermula pada Oktober ini dan juga murid-murid ni lah ya, PPKI. Jadi tuan-tuan dan puan-puan juga pastinya sibuk dengan PDPR lah, dengan murid-murid tingkatan 6 yang lain pula ya. Jadi saya sebenarnya berasa sangat-sangat besar hati, sangat-sangat bangga, sangat-sangat terharu kerana cikgu-cikgu sanggup meluangkan masa pada hari ini untuk sama-sama lah kita menimba ilmu yang baru. Saya juga ingin mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kepada Madam Ilani. Thank you so much kerana sudi berkongsi ilmu, khususnya berkaitan format baru dalam MUET ini. Memang saya faham pasti ada yang mengeluh kan, kenapa Asyik nak tukar format, ya tak? Why don't we stick to the old format? Tapi yalah kita haraplah tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, guru-guru berfikiran positif. Kita dengar dulu penerangan daripada Puan Ilani tentang format baru ini. Kita harapkanlah format baru ni dapat memberi kelebihan lah kepada calon-calon semua, sama ada calon-calon tingkatan 6 kita ataupun calon-calon guru yang sedang membuat persediaan untuk the coming years. Jadi pendedahan kepada format baru ini saya rasa akan membantulah guru-guru lebih yakin untuk mengajar. Kita tak nak lah pula kan jadi pengajar yang mengajar ilmu yang dah pun kata being phased out, obsolete kan, outdated ya. Jadi sebab tu kita kena sentiasa berada di hadapan dalam pengajaran dan pembelajaran, terutamanya dalam subjek-subjek yang cikgu ajar. Tak kira dalam BI ke, dalam geografi ke ya, apa sahaja subjek yang tuan-tuan dan puan-puan ajar. Jadi akhir kata saya mengucapkan selamat menimba ilmu dan selalulah berfikiran positif. Jadi orang kata positive attitude ya, will spread happiness and optimism. Jadi optimism ni makes it easier lah for us to avoid worries and negative thinking. It is not just putting up smiles on our face, tapi also putting aside negative thoughts dan negative vibes. Kalau ada negative vibes ni memang we can find it anywhere, everywhere around us. It's very easy to find. But when we have positive thinking, we will be in total control of our mind and our emotion. Then we will have the right or correct emotional attitude. We will have the emotional balance, which I think will help us a lot in staying focused and making us to be able to make the right decisions even in our daily lives. Jadi sebagai penutup, saya berharap semoga tuan-tuan dan puan-puan jaga diri, stay healthy dan supaya kita semua dilindungilah daripada penyakit COVID-19 yang berbahaya ini. Dan saya harapkan semoga perkongsian hari ini membawa manfaat yang besar kepada semua tuan-tuan dan puan-puan dan juga akhirnya memanfaatkan semua pelajar-pelajar kita juga. Dan ingat, be positif. Itu je. Sekian. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Terima kasih.
Okey, terima kasih kembali kepada Puan Saadah Kasiran di atas dorongan dan galakan serta pencerahan. Sebenarnya kita mungkin telah semua tahu, tapi kita perlukan peringatan ini dari masa ke semasa ya Puan Saadah. Okey, the next in line is that we are going to have one Ilani Muhammad Kamil's profile. I will read one. Ilani binti Muhammad Kamil is actually a MUET English teacher from SMK Sungai Kapar in Klang, Selangor. She has over 18 years of experience in teaching English and has been involved in the Malaysian University English Test MUET since 2006, a long time ago. She is the Selangor active speakers. When it comes to MUET, she is a very active speaker and she has conducted various seminars and workshops all over Malaysia. She has been called not Wizard of Oz, but Wizard of MUET lah. MUET Wizard actually. Okay. And Puan Ilani graduated with a Bachelor of Education TESOL from University Kebangsaan Malaysia UKM and a Master in Education TESOL from University of Technology Malta. So with that note, I would like to have Puan Ilani to begin sharing session with all of us.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon, everybody. This session is going to be one of 5 sessions that we are going to have. So I go by my name. You don't have to call me Wan or Madam or whatever, because I'm just a teacher like you guys. I can see some of my friends here, those who are teaching, those who are sitting for the paper. And then later we'll have a few other dates, 4 more sessions for each MUET component, so that you get the general idea of how to score. But here today, I am only going to cover the introduction of MUET, what is MUET all about, and the 4 components. I'm not going to go into details because we have other sessions coming. So this is like an introduction to MUET for each component and the general idea what MUET is all about. Why MUET? Why did the format of MUET changed? Just now one Saada questioned that. If some of you questioned that, it is because it has been, the first format was in 1999 and then changed in 2012 and then changed again in 2021. So basically nearly 10 years. So it's that format is, quite obsolete now, and we are going for CEFR aligned. Everybody is talking about that. So MPM had worked with Cambridge people to change this format. And frankly speaking, compared to the old format, I'm not comparing, but frankly speaking, this new format is a whole lot easier for the students as well as the teachers to aim for a higher band compared to the old format. Okay, let's start with the presentation. As I go along, if you have any questions, you just ask, unmute your mic and ask, or you can just type it in the chat box so that I there and then could answer your questions. Okay. I hope you all can see this. Kak Mai, can you see this, Kak Mai?
Yes, I can.
Why are we recording, Kak?
No. Actually, it's the echo from my other device.
Okay. So you're not recording this session?
I'm recording.
I'm wondering, why are you recording?
It's for me.
Oh, okay. It's for you. All right. Okay. So generally, I'm going to talk about what MUET is all about in general. So the objective, as you all know, is the general objective of MUET is to measure the English proficiency of particularly pre-U universities and university students in Malaysia. But for the teachers, they have the CEFR exam, which is exactly the same as MUET. It's just that the name is different. So its general objective is to measure the English language proficiency level. So MUET can be divided into 4. There are 4 components in MUET: listening 800/1, the code; speaking 800/2, reading 800/3, and writing 800/4. So all these have a full mark of 360 aggregated score. Okay, I'll explain more. So this is basically the breakdown for each paper. Listening, 800/1. Although the code is 800/1, 2, 3, and 4 during the exam, we are going to start with speaking. But because of this year, for sesi 2 and sesi 3, we are going to have speaking after the written test. So we are going to have speaking first, like 1 week or 2 weeks earlier, despite of the fact that it is 800/2. And then we're gonna have reading, writing, and listening. these 3 papers. Written tests are on the same days, which is on Saturday. So let's take a look at listening. So listening time for the exam is 30 minutes. There are I'm so sorry. Time is 50 minutes. 50 minutes. Question is 30. Marks 90 from the 360 aggregated score. And the weightage is 25%. For speaking, 800/2, 75 minutes. It depends on your how long will you be quarantined, and then but when you sit for the paper, approximately around 30 minutes for each group. Question, there are 2 questions, 90 marks, 25 minutes, and then reading 800/3, 75 minutes, 40 questions. Again, the marks and the weightage are all the same, 25% and 90 marks. And then writing 800/4 for 50 minutes, 2 questions. So this is the aggregated score. For those who have taken MUET before 2021, the aggregated score was 300. Now it is 360. So we have 9 bands now. Band 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.54, 4.55, and 5+. So this, according to the marks, you according to aggregated score, then only you get your band. So this is the band in MUET. But now, because we are CEFR aligned, CEFR here means Common European Framework of Reference for Language, which is established in 2001. It is basically a guidance, a standard for not only English but also for other languages to have their own exams according to their standard, which it can be assessment, teaching, and also learning. So we are going to follow the CEFR standard. So that is why we see now every book CEFR aligned, CEFR aligned. So we have 2 things now. It would be CEFR level and MUET level. So basically, A1 would be for B1, band 1. A2 would be for band 2 and 2.5. B1 would be for band 3 and 3.5. B2 would be for band 4 and 4.5. C1 would be for band 5. C2 would be for band 5+. Why we don't have a band 6 now? Some of you guys might be wondering why. Because band 6 is quite rare in our country. Usually per session is only 1. The most I would say 6, I think. I cannot remember, but a few years back, there were none of a band 6 candidate in our country. So they have decided to put all the more than band 5 students or candidates to be in 5+. So that candidate can be a 6, a 5+, a 5.5, or a 7 for all we know, and put them into groups so that this group would be more people be in this. So that B5 will have more candidates there. So it is considered as a C2 level for CEFR. So we cannot say how come there's only band 1, band 5. So we have C1. Whatever happens to C2, we do have this for band 5+. So the questions given in MUET papers are arranged according to their CEFR level. So every component starts with A2 level, meaning questions are pitched at band 2 level or A2 level. And so, but the candidates are expected to perform way better or higher than A2 or band 2. The reason why the questions are pitched at this level is that so that our students from all levels of proficiency would be able to understand the questions. Okay, so in the beginning, it will be easy, and then it's going to go hard and harder lah. later, especially you can see the questions going to be hard, so easy, hard, and harder would be in our reading paper because it has the most questions. That's why I wrote there 40 questions in reading especially. So these papers or questions are arranged according to this Bloom taxonomy level, meaning our cognitive, how our brain works, or how high or how low our proficiency level is. So it depends on this. I don't think I need to explain this because everybody is in education and quite aware of the taxonomy. So far, any questions? Kat Mai, no questions, eh?
So far, no question yet.
Okay, so if there's no questions, let me go to 800/1, listening. So I'm just going to go to the basics first. So the weightage is 25%. Maximum score would be 90 marks. Duration 50 minutes. Number of texts, there are 7, but there are 5 parts, and the number of questions are 30. Okay. And then part 1, there are 5 parts. Okay. Part 1 is one dialogue. It has one dialogue, and the topic is very familiar, where the people in dialogue, there will be 2 people who talk about some place that is very familiar to us, to the candidates. They go for holidays, they go to KL or Langkawi, stuff like that. So familiar, and it's easy because it is practically a Band 2 level. So there are 7 questions here. For part 2, there's one monologue, quite long, 7 questions, again, familiar topic, where it's about ex-students, a person who is successful in certain things. So it is still quite familiar. 7 questions. Part 3, there are 3 monologues by 3 different speakers. For example, 3 students who have different problems. So when it comes to students, it is quite a familiar topic where everybody can relate to. There are 5 choices of answers because there are 3 different speakers. So speaker 1 and then the answer, speaker 2 the answer, speaker 3 the answer. So practically there are 3 questions only. And then part 4, there's one dialogue. Text is getting a little bit difficult where sometimes it is not really a familiar topic for the candidates. It can be a dialogue about a doctor, a vet, or something about a disease so that's not really a familiar topic to some of us. For example, if they talk about pets, those who don't have pets, they might have problems a little bit in understanding the dialogue because it's not that familiar. But the words there, when I look at it, vocabs are still easy. So there are 7 questions there. And then the last part, there will be divided into 3 short dialogues. And each dialogue, there are 2 questions. So the texts are short. This is the part where candidates will find it quite hard because they don't realize that the texts are short. So they were so busy looking for the information, and all of a sudden, the dialogue is over. So it's short, but do not worry because each recording will be repeated twice. So each recording will be played twice. And text might not be quite familiar. For example, they'll be talking about classes on business classes, how to fly your own plane classes, something like that. But it's going to be short. So that's it for listening. So far, any questions? No questions?
No question still.
I hope you guys are not sleeping or doing something else while I'm talking.
They are very alert, don't worry.
I hope so. Okay, hold on. Let me open speaking PowerPoint. Okay, now if there's no questions, let's go to speaking. Speaking. Can you, Kak Mai, can you see?
Cannot see.
Cannot see. Okay, can now?
Yes, speaking 800/2.
Okay, now for speaking 800/2, there will be 2 tasks. Task 1, individual. Task 2, group work. Although it is group work, but marks will be given individually. So let's talk about task 1 first. Task 1, the candidates need to prepare 2 minutes and then present 2 minutes. For those who have set for any papers or MUET papers before 2021, if you can still remember, there is a 1 minute time allocated for the candidate to ask any questions. For the new format, there's no more of such thing. Whether you understand it or not, you have to prepare 2 minutes and then you have to present 2 minutes. Okay. Now for group work, preparation would be 3 minutes. Presentation would be 8 to 12 minutes. I'm so sorry, not 10, 12 minutes. This is the sitting arrangement if there's no COVID. So examiner 1, examiner 2, and then we have 4 candidates. It can be 2 or 3 or 4. So candidate. So examiner candidate A, B, C, and D. Sometimes there are only 3 candidates. Sometimes there are only 2. But here it would be 4 candidates. So basically, this is the sitting arrangement. But now, because we have COVID, I don't know whether we are going to do it face-to-face or online. For this year, I think maybe online. I'm not sure. It depends on the number of cases. Okay. So for example of part 1 would be, you will be given a situation. Situation is like this. It is important to be proficient in English. Suggest some ways students can improve their English proficiency. This is the part where candidates might be confused of the word suggest some ways, where candidates forgot to read what their tasks are. Because actually the ways are given differently to each candidate. So candidate A is going to talk about the importance of socializing with English-speaking friends. And they need to give a presentation where they need to talk. They have to project their voice. They have to do eye contact and things like that. Because some candidates, when it comes to suggest some ways, they tend to give their own ways when it comes to their turn to present. So please remind them that they need to read what their tasks are. So here it would be the importance of socializing with English-speaking friends. This is an example for part 1. For part 2, it is it is still under the same theme, but it is quite different where there are 5. The candidates will be given a sort of a diagram with 5 suggestions on how to raise the standard of English in schools. It's quite different from part 1. So the situation is also different where it says there is an increasing concern about the declining standard of English in Malaysia. So in your group, discuss how the Ministry of Education can raise the standard of English in schools. So there are 5. So the candidates need to discuss these 5 points within 8 to 12 minutes. But if they have any other points besides these 5 points, they are allowed to do so. They are allowed to use the points that they have on their own. So at the end of discussion, they need to find the best way for the Ministry of Education on how to raise the standard of English in schools. So they can discuss the points given or other points that are not listed. So basically that is for speaking. Still no questions?
Yeah.
Hello, can I ask
Sure.
for speaking part 2 in group session,
Uh-huh.
is an individual talk about the 5 points or only can choose one or two?
It depends. It depends because you have to discuss. Maybe you choose one and then others might choose another one and then you discuss which one is the best way. So you might touch all to come up with the best way or you might not. But if only you discuss only one point, it's going to cost you your time. It's going to be shorter. It's not going to go from 8 to 12. You're going to have a shorter period of time and then you come up with only one conclusion, which is the only point that you discuss. So practically, you need to discuss all the points so that you can come up with the best ones, the most important ones, the best one, the most effective. It depends on the questions.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions?
So Puan, sorry. Hi.
Yeah.
So
Lani, I go by my name, don't worry.
So the students are supposed to analyze the facts and they have to give the degree of importance, is it? Based on they are given 5 choices where they have to discuss. So when they are discussing, so there are 4 pupils in the group. Everyone will be discussing about one point. So all the 4 of them have to come to an agreement that this is the best that they can do to improve the level of English.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes. Or at the end of the discussion, when the examiner say, candidates, you only have 1 minute left. Sometimes they will, prompt you or tell you the time that is going to, you're reaching the time limit. They will tell you like 1 minute left. Let's say everybody came up with 2. So you go for 2 conclusions, no problem, 2 ways.
Okay, thank you, Puan.
Welcome. As long as you do the discussion and we'll see the flow of the discussion, you just want to see that.
Okay, understood.
We just want to see how you pass the baton, how you ask other people's opinion, how are you going to interrupt politely, all the communicative ability, and then how you present your points. Of course, the content is considered too lah.
So during the group, they must make a proper, clear explanation. I have to come to a point of view that within the 3 minutes given before they can proceed with the So the 3 minutes is very important.
But be careful. Do not monopolize the
Yeah.
conversation.
Understood.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so then let's go to reading. Yes.
One question. Okay, we hope that everything will go smoothly for our students, all right? But let's say that one of the students will have some MUET fright, okay? Like they go blank, all right? Will they be allowed to actually repeat or given another chance to try?
How long can this blankness go?
Oh, I don't know.
Usually they will go blank in the first part, task 1. But usually the examiners will see how nervous the kids are. So we are going to do some, pet talk a bit, ask where are they from, what courses are they taking, some that kind of questions so that they will loosen up a bit. In my experience of becoming an speaking examiner, so far, there is no candidate who blanked out totally throughout the exam, because examiners are sort of they are trained to sense all this, so we get to know how nervous they are. So we chat first before we go through the exam.
All right, thank you. Very clear, Teacher Lani. Thank you so much.
But sometimes there are cases where they are possessed because they are too stressed. That's another story lah. That would depend on the teachers and the examiners at that time, teachers of the school. So they need to discuss with MPM being acknowledged. So there's no more question. Okay, then let's go to reading. Last time, reading is the killer paper because it has the most weightage. But now, because it has the same weightage as other papers, so it's not really a killer anymore lah. So 800/3, reading has 75 minutes of duration, 40 questions, 25%, 90 marks, 7 parts. So practically one question, the candidate can spend 1.8 minutes. And this is the part where we can see the questions are arranged from super duper easy to super easy, easy, and then hard, very hard, and super duper hard. Because there are 7 parts. So when we go for the next session later, the teacher will bring the speaker will bring you and show you how these parts become harder and harder as they are reaching the 7 parts. So they go by proficiency of the students and band. So the first part, only 3 short texts, let's say about 3 different houses or 3 different shops. And then for each short text, there are only 100 to 150 words and multiple matching. So I'm sorry, there are 4, let's say 4 houses, talk about 4 different houses, and house A, house B, house C, and house D. And then 4 questions and then answer. Very easy, standard 6 level. Part 2, it's getting longer. 1 text, 300 to 450 words. There are 5 questions with 3 option MCQ questions, A, B, C. Okay, A, B, C, 5 questions. Part 3, again, text 300 to 450 words. Again, with MCQ, 3 options, A, B, C. This is the part where literary part come in. But it's not as hard as a band 2.5 and a band 3 students can answer this. A literary text, but the literature is not that hard. It's not something from Shakespeare or Hemingway. It's not. Okay, so it's still easy. This is the part where it is quite tricky. There are 2 texts which are based on the same theme. So the texts, each text is 700 to 800 words. It's getting longer. So for 1 text, there would be 2 questions. Text 2 also 2 questions. It can be a review of a movie, a song, a book. So it has to be a review or critique or comments on something. And then 2 questions for each text. Let's say review 1, 2 questions, review 2, 2 questions, and then combination of review 1 and review 2, there are 2 questions. So here is a band 4 level with 6 questions. So the hard part starts. So part 5, 1 text, 500 to 600 words, where they need to fill in 6 sentences, because 6 sentences in the text is missing, are missing. So we call it gap text, like the one that you are having now in your SPM, I think from 5. But the text is getting harder, where it is not familiar anymore with the students. It can be about anything, and the source is not something that is local. It might be from Herald Tribune or Reader's Digest is okay, but our kids don't read Reader's Digest nowadays because for them maybe it is expensive. I don't know, but the text is not that familiar with them anymore. And then there are 7 options, A to G, but there are only 6 questions. So they give you 7 sentences to make you confused with only 6 gap text. 6 blanks. Part 6 and part 7 are the same, where there's only 1 text, 7 to 900 words, and there are 7 questions, choices A, B, C, and D. So choices A, B, C, and D, not A, B, C anymore. So part 6, 7 questions. Part 7 also 7 questions. So that's it. Any question for reading? If there's no question, you are going to finish this very fast.
Not from the chat box.
Oh God. Okay, hold on.
I'm Farhana. I would like to ask about the technique. Do you have any tips on screening and the text?
I do. I have.
Please
But
share.
I cannot share it with you now because today is only the introduction.
Oh, okay.
There will be other 4 sessions. This is the first sessions out of 5. So there are 5 sessions practically. So one will be on listening, on tips on how to score listening, speaking, reading, and writing.
Right. Thank you very much then.
Welcome. So I think PPD will keep everybody alert about the next session. That will be when na Kak Mai?
October.
October.
Yeah. We will have like one for every month until January 2020.
Okay, good then. Thanks.
All right. But there are also talks outside that you can, join. But there is a few from Left Click Academy, but they are doing it for some times now. They are finishing. But never mind. Since we are going to have our own session later with my other 2 friends. Okay, now let's go to writing. Kak Mai, can you see?
Yep.
Okay. This is actually my expertise. I love this part. I don't know why, but I'll be doing this later in our coming session. So writing again, 25%, 90 marks, duration, 75 minutes. There are only 2 tasks in this paper. So task 1 would be a letter or email where you need to reply to an email or a letter. So the language is quite informal to a certain extent. So practically it is a guided writing because you need to reply to an email or a letter. So you should write more than 100 words. Time given that is suggested for you to attempt the question is 25 minutes. Task 2 will be in an extended writing. Before we go for the extended writing, we need to identify these 3 types of essays, which essays we are going to use to answer the question. So the types of essay would be argumentative or discursive or problem solving. Language is formal because it is an academic writing. The candidates need to write at least 250 words. Time suggested would be 50 minutes. So questions would be, for example, sports unite people, something like that. So you have to identify what this essay is, then only you can write your essay. I'll explain more later in our session. So I think that's for writing. Anybody has any questions? So when you get the general idea of what these papers are, what it is all about, when we go for our next sessions, you get the general idea so that you will know, especially those who are taking the paper. Plan to sit for the paper, which frankly speaking, I think personally, it is way easier than the old format. But sometimes it can be quite hard to score lah. But later we are going to share you the tips lah.
Puan Ilani.
Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, Kak. Who?
What was the question? I forgot already. Okay, regarding the registration for the course. For this year's session 3 is already ended, right?
Yeah.
And if we are looking for next year's registration, it will be sometime in January. Am I right?
Registration might start in
February.
Nah, if it's in sesi 1, it might start in January, because the timetable for next year is not out yet. I think it's not out yet. So when it's out, I'm going to post it in our Telegram group lah,
Okay.
so that it
So
will be easier.
So far, does the Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, the MPM lah, provide any guidance or a book, a guide on this?
Actually, there are a lot of books on the market. You can just Google it on the internet. We have MUET is ahead. This is an old book. Actually, the new one I left it at school. This is from Oxford, Fajar. This is from Ilmu Bakti. This is from Left Click. I have one more from, I have all the books actually. I have one more from Klang.
So those books really follows the CFRR, yeah?
CFR and MUET, they are all CEFR aligned. They are all latest
Latest version of MUET.
version.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Ada berapa ni? I ada 4 here. Oxford, Ilmu Bakti, Pelangi, and Left Click. You can get it all in Shopee. You don't have to go out and buy it at Popular. Some are not really selling out. They go by, you know, Shopee or Lazada. I think Shopee better. Not that I'm promoting Shopee, okay? There are also certain books that only focus on certain components like writing or reading, reading, listening, and speaking. You can just type it in your Shopee account, search, or you can ask your book dealer.
I think the one which is most difficult to get is for speaking, right?
That's one for speaking, a little bit listening and speaking under Left Click Company. There's only one publisher who provide that.
Which is?
Left Click.
Left Click, okay.
I'm not selling books, but if you want to go, you can look out for the books that I've just told you just now.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. MUET, there are 3 sessions. Sesi 1, we put COVID aside. Sesi 1 would be in March. Sesi 2 usually will be in July. Sesi 3 would be in November. But if you are in a hurry to get whatever band that you need to get, maybe not you, or it can be your children, you can also go for MUET on demand, MOD. But it's gonna cost you more lah. The cost is 300 or 350, something like that. It goes by month. MUET on demand goes by month. It has every month, and the result is within 3 weeks. That's why it is more expensive. Gonna have to look out for the MOD online lah in MPM website.
Any other questions, teachers?
Any questions, friends?
Hello, sorry. I would like to know how differs this MUET, this latest MUET, compared from the previous MUET?
Have you tried last session? Have you tried the previous MUET before?
Yeah, 2020 and 2021, where I sat twice for writing, but I got that's
You
why.
didn't get the band that you need to get. Meaning you sit for 2020 CFR 1 or 2? 1, and then you sit again in 2021 CFR 2.
This year juga got, I forgot. Yeah.
So you still didn't get the band that you need to get?
Yeah, because it's too low for writing, that's why.
Okay, if you can still remember, for task 1 in writing, it's all about graph, 2 bar graphs or line graphs or table. Am I right?
Yeah.
And you have to have a certain formula on how to write the report, and it is within 200 words.
Yeah.
But now for the new format, task 1, I think you're gonna score lah, because you are replying to an email or letter. You can the question would be replying to your teacher, to your mother, to your friend, to your cousin. Very easy, band 3 level, but you need to not only be able to write or to reply to the letter, you need also to score. So because sometimes the question is easy, we tend to write, we get carried away with writing and everything, that we overlook some of the stuff that we need to fulfill in the question. But I will bring you through once we go for our next session in writing. I will teach you step by step on how. So I think Puan, you will score in task 1 new format better, because it's a whole lot easier.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I'm getting demotivated.
No, don't. Actually, this one is easier because my school, SMK Sungai Kapal Indah, my students are not very good in English. But when I did their trial exam last time, for reading and listening, the results are quite encouraging. I'm happy. Because last time listening also was hard, because you need to go, because there are open-ended questions where you need to write, some you need to ABC, especially the third part where you need to write with correct grammar and spelling. But now no more, all ABC. But I takut itu tidur je. You might get sleepy because it's 50 minutes compared to last time 30 minutes. But you're gonna score lah this time, Puan. Don't worry.
Thank you so much.
Are you in the Telegram group?
Yes.
So I'm in there. If you have any questions, just ask. Or you can just PM me.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions? If there's no, I'm going to pass the baton, the mic to Kak Mai. Puan Mai Tatu.
Okay, we have a short and sweet session today, maybe because this is the first time. We don't know what what to ask, because we have to go deeper, and then only we would know things that bothering us, yeah. But as for the format, I think it is clear enough by what Puan Ilani has said just now. As for the time being, we are okay. Okay. For October session, I will keep you informed in KP's group or in GKMP's group. Yeah, but not early of the October, because we are going to be busy with the sesi pengoperasian, pembukaan. So we will maybe like in 2 weeks time after that we will have, yeah, Puan Lani.
Okay.
Okay, if there is no other question, then I think we can call it a day. But before that, can we have like a photo session?
Sure.
And I'm gonna copy and paste the kehadiran link. I need Puan Nolin. I see Puan Nolin is there. Can you do me a favor, Puan Yam Nolin, taking pictures while I'm getting this link for you?
I'm using a phone.
Okay, who is it is gonna help me? Lani, you can, right?
I don't know how.
Oh, Dilendran is there. Okay, Mr. Dilendran. Ever ready, Dilendran. Okay, I have my IT member there.
Okay.
Okay, put on your camera. Okay, I am looking for. Sugunawati. Can't see you. Yeah, see you now. Puan Siti, Nur Syahila. Smile.
I am.
I know you have been smiling all the way. Dylan can't hear you. Maybe you're saying 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. Take a few shots. Okay. All right, I think I'm gonna paste the link in the MUET 2022 group and also in GKMPs and also KPs group, yeah? All right. So thank you very much for your participation today. Yeah. And have a nice day. I mean, whatever that we have.
Right.
See
Thank you,
next day.
Lani.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks, Indira. Don't know what are you doing here.
Thank you, Lani, for the wonderful session.
Yeah.
Very clear and nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fun Indira is from KTE Istana, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you again. Thank you, Encik Ahmad Zamzuri.
Oh, Kak Mai, somebody asked you to paste the link in the chat box.
Chat box, okay. Should be looking for it. I put in, okay. This is, okay, I have this. How am I going to, okay, I'll go to Nor, hang on, eh? Okay. This is the there's a lot of CPDs this week, that's why I got confused. What's this? Competency. Content. Jadual pengiriman. Oh gosh.
Puan Mai,
Yeah.
is our session?
Yeah, and yeah, the session is, I mean, comes to an end.
Yes.
But I will try to find the link actually for, because some of you have been asking for the link of the kehadiran.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. If I can't find it now, I will share with you in the MUET 2022 group tally and also the GKMPs and KPs, yeah? But if you are patient enough, you might get it now. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Puan Lani.
Welcome. Welcome.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.